Hello, happy to have you here. Being here, I imagine you probably already have some experience working with your body, maybe in yoga, maybe in the gym, maybe in some sort of sport. That being said, I imagine you probably already have some investment, some desire to learn more, to understand more, and to go deeper into how you move and what that really means for your goals and your life. And first, I just want to say that's really beautiful, and I hope that you have what I just explained, because that is something that can be so empowering and can really guide you into such a beautiful path and direction in life outside of any work, family, stress, responsibility. We always have this body, and learning to take care of it and to truly be present with it is so important. Now, that being said, I've worked with hundreds of practitioners of varying degrees of level and skill, and across the board, whether it's in yoga, in the gym, in sport, whatever it might be, there's one piece that seems to always be missing, and that is genuine knowledge of anatomy. And it seems that anatomy is something that's so far hard to access for a lot of people, because how do you get to such a depth, and how do you get to such a level of understanding, for one, but for two, how do you actually apply it to your body? And I think actually that point too is the biggest challenge. I studied the body for almost a decade in my bachelor's and doctorate programs, and I am technically an expert in human anatomy, and yet in that 8+ years of learning, of practicing, of teaching others how to move their body, I was very much disconnected from my own. And I really had no idea that that was even happening. I had this depth of knowledge, such a deep knowledge of movement and of muscles, and yet I wasn't feeling mine. I wasn't truly connecting to my own. So how does that happen, right? And that being from an expert of anatomy, like, how does a general person who maybe has done a random course here or this or that, how do they then apply anatomy into their life and into their movement? And let me tell you, it's a journey. It's a journey. And yet, it's so far from impossible. Yeah? And I think the first step, and one of the most important parts, is what I kind of already said, which is having a desire, having an intention, having a direction to go into that depth of knowing inside your body, knowing what's under your skin, beyond just a name here, a joint recognition there, but to really feeling those tissues moving and working inside of you. When you simply have that desire, that intention, that goal, that objective in your practice, the path will be made clear for you to go to that depth and to that level of understanding. Now, I want to explain why this is so important, and maybe you're kind of already registering why. But when I speak of my experience of being this expert of anatomy and not feeling my own anatomy, let me tell you how that impacted me. I left the US a few years ago in the pursuit of a deeper knowledge of yoga. And I found myself living in India for the last 3.5 years. And in this time in India, I started to unravel what was really happening here and starting to actually apply my knowledge into my own body. And what I came to find was, I could spend probably a full few hours telling you, but in short, I started to see my physical dysfunction, my tension, my anxiety, how I hold, how I restrict, how I can't move in so many different ways. And in large part because of studying for 8 years. I was sitting in a desk for 12, sometimes 15 hours a day, and I was maybe giving myself half an hour of exercise, of a workout in the gym, lifting some weights, maybe running on a treadmill. And I checked that box and said, okay, I'm good, right? I did what I need to do because I know I need to do this to be healthy. Yeah. And in that timing of moving, I was thinking about my exams, thinking about what this conversation I had with this one person. My mind was racing. I was moving my body, and yet I was not living in my body. Yeah. And this I see across the board for most people, that even when we do give ourselves some time to move and to feel, how deeply are we really feeling? And so as I started to realize this in myself, and I started to actually come into my body and into these sensations, I started to see that knowledge is power. Because when you start to, instead of thinking about all the tasks and all the people and all the things that you have to do, when you start thinking about something that is physically existing inside of you, this isn't a concept, this isn't just an idea, this is reality. Underneath your skin, you have these muscles, you have this nervous system that's all engaging and interacting to create your movement, and it's happening for you all the time. And when you start to uncover those layers of understanding and of knowledge, and you see it, you feel it, all of a sudden the brain shuts off. And what I mean by the brain shuts off, I mean you're not thinking about all these other things. You're thinking about this here and now. You're feeling this here and now. And all of a sudden you're feeling sensations you didn't even know existed. You're feeling the way the muscle pulls through the tendon on the bone, creating that specific rotation in the tibia and your shin bone. You're feeling the way the scapula rolls and glides along your rib cage, and the way the muscles are engaging and holding and stabilizing. The way one side of your shoulder tends to tense and lift more than the other. And then you can intentionally, let me pull that down. Let me lengthen that. Let me balance the movement out. You start to see, like, wait, my ankles are super tight and limiting me in a squat. How can I work on this? Well, let's see. We know that there are several muscles in the calf, but two primary muscles that are going to lengthen the calf in a dorsiflex position. So let me work on both of those muscles in isolation. And all of a sudden, the movement becomes more effective. The practice becomes more efficient. And you actually start to make changes much more quickly. And those results are satisfying and motivating. And then you want to do more. You want to feel more. You want to understand more. You want to find more freedom, more control, more stability, more connection. And the world just expands open for you to dive into and to be empowered by. Anatomy, knowledge is power that can guide you into deep sensory connection that not only helps you target your specific dysfunctions, but it helps you find more balance, more regulation, more connection, more stillness, more out of the mind into the body connection and time. And we need that time. We need that time so much. God, it's insane how often we are here and not here, right? And any tool that you can access to take you out of here and take you into here is so valuable. And from my perspective and from my experience, I find anatomy being this tool that is so tangible. It's so real. It's not, okay, sit in stillness and just stop thinking. No, it's let's feel these muscles, and then the thinking will slow down. Yeah? Let's feel these muscles and, whoa, wow, what is this? Let me do more. Let me see more, right? It can be such an expansive experience of just opening yourself to your true potential. So these are just a few of my thoughts on the power of knowledge, the power of anatomy. I hope it can motivate you to come into your body more, to maybe Google the muscles in your quad, maybe look up what we're offering to teach you anatomy, teach you this movement, this type of practice. Wherever it takes you, I hope that you can feel this this fire of desire, of curiosity, and to let that burn within you to give you more clarity, more direction, more focus, and more intention in how you move and how you live every day. Thank you.